Hello guys, it's Anime What If Media, and today we're gonna be doing What If Bell Cornell had Excalibur. Now, what I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna change Bell's last name to Pendragon. So he's gonna be a descendant of King Arthur. Now Arthur was an adventurer, and his Excalibur, on his last battle, he left it in the dungeon, but it was transported to somewhere around a secret place in level 15. And like floor 15. Now, last time skip many years ahead. Now we have Belle. She's been searching for gods and goddesses to take him in his familiar. He never went to the big one because he knew that he's probably gonna get rejected. So he did a middle class type of gods and all that. They said get experience first and all that. He even went to goddess Hestia, and just one look at him, and she thought that he won't be anything great. So no, he's not gonna be part of the Hestia family. Now, Bell mostly lost all hope, but he decides to go to the dungeon without a fauna. Because no one's gonna help him, seriously. No one is gonna help him. Now, he goes to the dungeon guild, and he talks to Miss Aina, and Miss Aina says, why aren't you part of the familiar? He said he adds most of the middle tier and lower tier gods, even goddess Hestia, and they still haven't let me join. And she asks, why haven't you applied for the higher tier? And he says, let's be realistic here. I probably can't make the big familiars. So Aina kinda understands, just looking at him, he doesn't seem like much. Now he goes get some armor and a sword, because Bell is gonna be somewhat skilled with a sword instead of daggers. Now he goes inside the dungeon. The dungeon seems easy, even without a fauna. He destroyed most of the monsters on floor 1, 2, 3, even 4. It's so easy for him. He's like, maybe I can really do this. This was really, really easy. So he goes to floor 5. Now he goes to floor 5. He's fighting some monsters. And there's this one guy says that the Minotaur's coming. So he runs because he knows that a Minotaur ain't gonna be easy for him. So he knows that he's not gonna be fighting the Minotaur. So he goes help and warn some people too, because he doesn't want anyone else to get injured by the Minotaur. Now the Minotaur just happens to just lock on Bell he's the target, and Bell's seriously, why me of all people? Why me of all people? So the Minotaur is now chasing Bell. Bell is running away because His sword could break if he hits that Minotaur, and he doesn't want to range you. Now, the Minotaur, Bell wasn't watching his step. Watching his step and kind of tripped. He fell on the ground, and the Minotaur was about to did use one of his fists and punch him, and it made him puke out blood. Then it kicked Bell. Then Bell fell. He fell down to the 15th floor. His eyes are blurry. He can't see well. It's hard for him to stand up because a level 1 facing against a Minotaur, that's kinda bad. If you don't have Laeris freeze right now, which he doesn't right now. He landed on some sort of green patch of land, and he sees a sword on the ground. His sword is already broken, so he used this sword as to hold him up. Now, Bell knows that the deeper the floor goes, the dangerous it is, so he knows that he needs a weapon to get back to the surface. So he picks up the sword, and he sees that the scabbard is near him, so he takes up the scabbard too and puts it on his waist. Now, for some reason, he got healed immensely, and his body just changed, his physique. He got a bit taller. He has a six-pack now, he's like, what the hell? And the sword is not that rusty anymore, it's more better. It looks like how it looks like on the picture over here right now. He's like, what? And for some reason he zones out a little bit, and he knows what this sword is. It's his ancestor's sword. It's a king's sword, a hero's sword. So he knows that he could fulfill his dream to become a hero. Now, Dell, hearing that this is a hero sword, a king's sword, he might actually survive. Now, he's gonna have a passive ability of he's gonna be invulnerable, so most attacks won't affect him. And plus, he's gonna have a skill called King Spirit. People below this level of 6 will basically bow down to him like a king, like how they bow down to a king, because. Now he's gonna have King Spirit. It's also kind of like Intimidate, but also King Spirit gives you like a king's boost, and he gets like a boost in stats, like 100 for attack, 100 for speed, 100 for everything, even magic. It boosts him once and it stays at 100. So he's going up to the floors. He's defeating war shadows, even minotaurs when he couldn't defeat them. And his mastery of the blade improved. He's like, what is happening? And he's destroying monsters, and he has a book bag instead of like a small pouch. So he's putting all his loot inside his book bag, which is getting filled really easily. And he finally reaches to like floor 10, and he's starting to get tired. Then a blonde-haired girl with golden eyes help him, and he says, and Belle says, can you help me up to get back to the surface? And Oz decides to help him, and he says, Oz acts like, what happened to you? He says, I was on level 5, and I can the rogue minotaur was around. I was trying to help people like get off of the floor, and I kind of fell down. Help people, and he kind of tripped, and the minotaur basically kicked him while he didn't notice, and he kind of fell down. Then he basically tried to get his way up. And she says like, what type of monsters were there? He says war shadows, minotaurs, and other animals. So she thinks it's probably level 15. Like, how was he just on level 5, like floor 5, but then on floor like 15? Like, this doesn't make sense. So Ice takes him up to the Neutrophil and the Loki Familia are waiting for Eyes, and they see how she's helping someone get up. And they ask like, what's with him? And she says that he was from the 15th floor. From the 5th floor, he fell down to the 15th floor, and he was basically survived his way up to the 10th floor until he got like tired, and he asked me for help. Them hearing this is like, wow, a person that's supposed to be a level 1 surviving from like a beginner too. Now, he puts his Excalibur in his sheath, ready to go to to somewhere to clean his. And let's just say the upper floors of the tower has a shower for him, so he goes to the shower, cleans himself off, and goes to the guild to, like, get his valise. Now, he gets, let's just say, 2 million valise for all the Minotaur cores and all these monsters that he had. 2 million. And you guys are saying 2 million, isn't that a bit much? But no, 90 valise is like a meal. Like around a meal in the hostess fertility. So 2 million is not that much, but it's much. It's totally much. So it's a lot, but not that much. So he has 2 million. He stays like in a hotel for now. And he decides to go to the dungeon. He goes there a bit early, and he kind of gets hungry because he forgot to bring something to eat. Then Seer comes here and says that you dropped the valise, and Bell, thinking that he didn't drop a valise, so he says, excuse me, I think you're mistaken, I didn't drop a valise. And she says, oh, sorry, sir. But she asked him if he was hungry and why is he venturing that far. And Bell was about to say he's not that hungry, but then his stomach answered that for him. So she gives him her breakfast, and they promise to like go eat at the hostess fertility thing. So he eats something before he leaves for the dungeon. So he's fighting, getting magic stones. He even goes up to the 15th floor. He's like, this is actually easy. Like, seriously. And let's just let you guys know, he does not have a fauna. So when I said he boosts his stats, whenever he gets his fauna, it's gonna have those stats. Alright? So he's basically destroying most of the monsters. And he goes to floor 16 and he says, I think that's enough. They're starting to get a bit challenging. So he goes up to goes up to the surface, and he made a map. So he gives it to Anna. Anna says, "You went to the 16th floor without a fauna and survived." And she says this loud, and everybody's staring at Belle like, "What? He's not part of the familia and went to the 16th floor and survived. And it looks like he barely had a scratch." Like, they're like wondering, who the hell is this kid? Then, a certain goddess, a certain red-headed goddess, was waiting for her familia to be done with her expedition. When she hears this, she's like, "He doesn't have a fauna. I could get him into my familia." And if you guys are wondering who this goddess is, it's Loki. Now Belle says, "Yeah, it was surprisingly easy this time." And she said, "This time? What you mean?" And he's like, "My first time, I went all the way to the 15th floor and survived." And she was like, "Seriously?" Like, she's that surprised that a person without a fauna survived that long. And she was wondering, I think most of the gods and goddesses, like, made a mistake. Like, how is he surviving that long and without a fauna? Now, Loki, hearing this, and he asks, like, what's his name? And he says his name is Bell Pendragon. When Loki hears this, he's like, "You don't happen to be related to a person named Arthur Pendragon?" And Belle says, "Yeah, he's my ancestor." And she's wondering, "So, do you know what his sword is called?" And Belle just picks up his Excalibur in a sheath sword form, and he says, "You mean Excalibur?" And she, hearing the name, even Aina hearing this name, the blade's name, she was like, "So you really are a Pendragon, and you also have his sword. That means you are the next one in line. Next one to be like a hero that surpasses the limits of level 10. Because Argonaut, if you guys didn't know, Argonaut's level was a level 10. That was the highest that they ever had in history. And let's just say, Argonaut and King Arthur are brothers. Just to let you guys know. Alright? Okay? Okay. Now Loki already knowing that he's descending of King Arthur, and Aina hearing this, he's like, no wonder why he survived this long. He has Excalibur, and plus he's a Pendragon. So she's thinking, yeah, no wonder why he survived that long. So Loki asks Belle to join her familia, and Belle didn't notice that she was a goddess, so he basically apologized. "Sorry that I didn't notice that you were a goddess." She says, "It's alright, you don't have to apologize." And Belle's kind of acting sheepish because he just kind of referred to a goddess like how he would normally refer to people. Like, he thinks that he's gonna die. But then when he hears it's alright, he's like, he's safe. He's glad that she didn't do anything. So him hearing that she wants him to join his familia, he says, "Alright, I'll join." And he says, What's your name, goddess?" And when she says her name is Loki, he just like, "What? You're saying a goddess from a big familia wants me to join their familia?" He's like surprised because in his head he thought none of the big familias will ever like let him join their familia. And he's surprised. He's really surprised because he didn't expect to be joined in a big familial type of thing. So So he's surprised, but he's not. But he's kind of happy now. He's part of the familiar. Now they head to the Twilight Manor, and they show Belle his room. Now Belle, he gets his fauna. Now once he gets his fauna, the stat says Belle Pendragon, level 1. Attack attack 200. The speed 200. Agility 200. Stamina 200. Um what's it called? Defense 200 and magic 200. And the type of magic spells that he's gonna have, it's light spears. It's like, so you conjure light spears, and all he has to say is light spears, and they will just shoot. All right. So now he has another spell. Now he's not gonna get Firebolt yet. Now the skills that he has are King Spirit, which when he fights a stronger opponent, he gets like a boost in stats. And one of his skills are Invulnerability, Luck, and one of his other skills is called Argonaut. So he has Argonaut and King Spirit. He's not gonna have Large Freeze yet. Okay? So he spent some time in the familiar hanging out with the young, like the level 1s and level 2s of the familiars. And they're kind of nice to him because they see him. Belle's kind of a chill guy. He's a bit taller. He has more muscular build now. So he doesn't look that weak. So they're like, oh, he's a chill dude. So he's kind of chill. He's probably friends with everyone now. So they went to the dungeon tower and went upstairs to go to like one of the Hephaestus store for armor. Now he's checking the stores and he sees Wolf Crozo. Now the Wolf Crozo armor, he gets a golden one. Golden with blue with a, if you guys seen Fate Stray Night, just imagine Artoria, but a male version, just King Arthur. Like, if you've seen Artoria Pendragon, the Spirit Saber, just imagine a male version of that clothing, and that's basically what he's wearing. Now, it's more lighter. He has a blue interior with the golden metal, gold armor. So he has gold armor with a blue interior. So that's what he's wearing. Now I know the video is around 20 something. I'm hoping to make this longer because I really want to get this out because this what if idea could be really, really, really good. I'm hoping that the likes for this video will reach up to like 55 likes. But anyways, so he gets some armor. And it's time for he goes to the hostess with Loki because she needs someone to hang around with. So him and Loki are going to the hostess. And this is the time when he remembered his deal with Sears. So they went to the hostess for dinner. And he goes to the hostess and Sears sees him with Loki and he says, "That's your goddess?" And Loki and Belle says, "Yeah, I just became part of her familiar." And Sirius asking like, wait, so you went to the dungeon without a fauna? And he said, yeah, technically, I went up to the 16th floor. Why? She hearing this is like, damn. So she's like, she gives him some food and Loki some food. Whilst they just eat and basically, once they finish their food, they go to the Twilight Manor. Once they go to the Twilight Manor, they see um the Loki familiar, like the ones that we know. Basically the strong type. The strong ones. And once the Loki familiar sees Bell with Loki, they're wondering, is he part of our familiar or something? And Loki says Bell to introduce them, and he says, my name is Bell Pendragon, and I'm gonna be joining your familiar. Them hearing this is like, what? He went to the dungeon without a fauna, and he went from that? Them hearing this is like, nah, this dude has guts, and actually survived the 15th floor. They're like, this dude is actually strong. So they're like, this dude could actually go to some expeditions that don't like go that far down. So they're wondering if they could take him to like an expedition or sometime. Now, Dell goes to his room, and he knows that Eyes is like right next door, and he says, hello. So it seems that you're gonna be my neighbor for now on. He's just trying to be nice, and she just nods. And they go into the rooms and take a nap. Oh, take us. Like, they go and catch some Z's. Now the next day, Bell wakes up early. He's training by himself. His mastery of the sword is like, he's like a master, because that's just a passive ability of wielding Excalibur. You're already a master in the blades. So he's practicing on himself. And Finn, if you guys don't know who Finn is, he's the Palom with blonde hair. His name is called the Braver. So if you guys don't know who Finn is, you guys should really check the names and Don Machi. So Finn sees that Bell is actually mastering the sword, like, and he kind of sees like the design of the blade is familiar, because he heard stories of King Arthur. So he asks Bell like, "What's the name of the blade?" And he says it's Excalibur. And once like Finn hears this, he's like the one that King Arthur used, and Belle says, that's my ancestor. Why? And Belle hearing and Finn hearing this understands why he survived that long. Excalibur is like a wicked blade. And also, him being related to King Arthur just makes him like, he's wondering, why haven't the other gods picked up the name Pendragon once he like submit or like reply or anything? So him and Finn decide to train. Now Finn, seeing how masterful in the blade, and him going like head to head, and it's actually a good spar. And now they have some people watching. The people watching are Rivia, Bet. If you guys don't know who Bet is, Bet Loga is the wolf dude. That's how you pronounce his name, Bet. Even though it's Bete, it's Bet. Alright? Bet, Tiona, and I forgot the twin Amazons. I forgot the sister's name. Lethia and Eyes, Gareth, and Loki is staring at this. Like, they're like, he's just a level 1 and he's keeping up in speed with their captain. And also, they see how masterful he is with the blade. And Loki's just grinning, and they're wondering, why are you grinning? He says, that's his ancestor's blade, Excalibur. Once they hear this, he's like, what? He's related to King Arthur? And they're like, and he's like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, he's related to King Arthur. That's why he survived that. That's why he survived that deep. He has Excalibur, and also he's a Pendragon. He has an innate ability for a sword. It's a passive ability of his. Now with Excalibur, his mastery over the sword boosted. Now them hearing this know that Bell is basically OP as frick. He's goaded. Now, this bar's over. They take a quick shower and they eat breakfast together in the Twilight Manor. Now, Bell decides to go to adventuring by himself because they'll be venturing in the deeper floors, and he feels like he's not ready for that. He thinks of going to the 18th floor, the safe zone, today. So he's going down the dungeon by himself, fighting most of these stuff. And then he goes to the 17th floor, fights some of the monsters, then he sees a door. The door to the Goliath boss floor. Now, if you guys don't know, Eyes already defeated the Goliath by herself. The Goliath is something that not anyone could do and fight them by themselves. Now, this Goliath that Belle's gonna fight is a black Goliath. Now, most of you guys don't know that a black Goliath signifies that a god is inside the dungeon. Now, you guys be wondering, Nani, why is there a god inside a dungeon? What you guys don't know, which I'm gonna think this is a fact, some people say that he's adopted, but I'm gonna just go with Bell on his mother's side is the grandson of Zeus. So Zeus is still his grandpa from his mom's side now. So he's kind of part deity, just that it doesn't show that much, but he still has his part deity still. So they're so the dungeon recognize him as a deity, so they spawn a black Goliath. Now, Bell seeing this knows that he can't technically defeat this Goliath unless he goes all out and he uses King's Spirit Boost. The King's Spirit Boost. So he gets like a boost of 100 for each step. Now he starts using some light spears and basically attacking the Black Goliath. And he's using sword slashes, trying to weaken his Achilles tendon and making him basically unmovable. Which he does, and he basically cuts off those legs, but it's regenerating really fast. So he climbs up the arms and starts slashing them and everything. And he basically masterfully cuts off its neck, and it still revives, and he's like, this is gonna be hard. And during this, the Goliath basically is squeezing Bell, his dear life off, and he kind of blinks out. Now, he's in his self, he's in his conscience, and he's unlocking a new magic inside of him. Now, this magic, if you guys don't know this, is gonna be Fireball. He's not gonna get it from a grimoire. It's just an innate built magic type that he had, but he never unlocked it. Now, his Firebolt. So he does the same questions that he does there, and he just, when he wakes up, he uses his strength and basically gets out the grip of the Black Life, and he uses a Fireball bolt. And the Firebolt is so strong that it turns into white flames, and basically destroying most of the sorry about that, most of the body of the Black Goliath. Now, Bell is starting to use his Argonaut skill. It's charging up. It's using the Excelia from around and charging up. Now his body's surrounded in white light. And there's a grand bell playing, like boom, boom. Like it's chiming loudly. And he uses a hero strike, basically a strike down, and it basically destroys the Goliath, and he gets the core and basically puts in his book bag. He goes to the 18th floor, goes to like the hospital over there to get his wounds treated for, and he does, and he decides to head back up. And he goes to the banker and basically tells her that I defeated Goliath, but it was different. It was not grayish like it normally is. It was black. And she, not believing it, says, "Where's the proof?" He opens up his book bag and shows like the core of the Goliath. And and she's like, "You defeated Goliath on your own. You know the only person to do that is Eyes Wallenstein. And Otter the King." Now, if you guys don't know who Otter the King is, he's part of the Freya familia. He's the Boaz, or basically the big man with a big sword. If you guys don't know that dude that basically trained that Minotaur to basically fight Bell, that's Otter. He's a level 7, the only level 7 in Auraria right now. So, that's that. Now, he goes to the hostess to get something to eat, and he sees some familiar, so he decides to sit next to him, and they're asking how was his journey in the dungeon, and he says he went to the 70th floor and fought the Goliath and won. Them hearing this, he says, "By yourself?" And he says, "Yeah." And the Goliath was surprisingly black. And them hearing like how difficult the Black Goliath is, they're wondering like, "How did you do it?" And he says, just because they're part of the same familia, he's gonna tell them about his Argonaut ability. He says that he has an ability called Argonaut. It's like a hero strike move. When the odds are against you, it basically charges up an attack and makes it like 10 times stronger. And I use my Excalibur to like destroy them with a hero strike. And basically, it cut the Goliath in half. Them hearing this is like, so, not only that you have Excalibur, you have a move named after like the best adventurer ever. Like they're wondering like, who is this dude and why does he have like OP things? Like, and he also says that I gained a new magic spell. And they're like, new one? Like, what was your previous one? He says, light spears. I could conjure up light spears. Now I could do a quick chant spell called Firebolt. I'm hearing this is like he has quick chant spells too. Like this dude is goated. Now he gets back to the Twilight Manor and decides to hit the hay. Now I'm gonna leave this video off now. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification button, please. I want to get that 20-ish around percentage of people who are subscribed up. Like seriously. There's like around 70 something amount or percent of people not subscribed that watch my videos. If you guys really like my content, can you please subscribe? Like it'll help the channel. Alright? That's all. Stay frosty.